All right, so the Biden administration is suing Texas, wanting them to remove the razor wire along the border. We're going to dig right into that really quickly and some of the other cases. But first, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Uncommon Grounds Limited, guys. They are an amazing micro roastery of coffees. They roast coffee beans once per month, package them up, and ship them directly fresh to you. This isn't a drop ship operation. This is real fresh roasted coffee. They have all kinds of different single origins, blends, and their coffee for a cause, guys. Check them out. Link in the description. If you use promo code HANDY at checkout, you will get 10% off your order. And their orders for January are closed. The January roasting started today. They're now taking orders for the February roasting. That starts on the week of February 7th. So get your orders in for your coffee for next month now. Right on. Now, let's get right into the news, guys. Biden asks the Supreme Court to let Border Patrol destroy Texas border barriers. On Tuesday, the Biden administration asked the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstate federal authority over the international border between Mexico and Texas so that Border Patrol agents could cut razor wire at the U.S. southern border with Mexico. Texas officials had constructed the razor wire to prevent illegal immigrants from crossing. Texas officials were previously victorious in convincing a lower court to block the Border Patrol from removing razor wire that the state had erected along a 29-mile stretch of the Rio Grande. U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar argued in a court filing that Congress had given the Border Patrol extensive power to enforce immigration law within 25 miles of the border and that the state governments do not have the power to circumvent the authority that the Constitution gives to the federal government, noting that Texas barriers in Eagle Pass impede agents' ability to apprehend and inspect migrants under federal law. She added that Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas has the power and duty to control and guard the boundaries of the U.S. In response, Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott wrote on X, Americans and courts will reject Biden's hostility to immigration laws, adding that he would continue to deploy the National Guard to build border barriers and repel illegal immigrants. So text from Greg Abbott, Biden begs SCOTUS to let him cut razor wire, Texas installed on border. See you in court. Americans and courts will reject. Yes. He also stated, last month, the Fifth Circuit Court ordered Texas to remove a 1,000-foot floating barrier that had been installed in the Rio Grande River near Eagle Pass in response to record numbers of illegal immigrants coming across the U.S.-Mexico border. Last month, Abbott signed a law giving state authorities the ability to arrest and deport illegal immigrants caught crossing the border between designated ports of entry. According to the Houston Chronicle, the American Civil Liberties Union and the Texas Civil Rights Project have filed suit to challenge the constitutionality of the new law. Biden's Justice Department has threatened to follow suit. So basically, Texas has had enough of the open border. They have been putting out razor wire. They have stacked containers along the border. They had the floating barricade up in the middle of the Rio Grande to prevent people from crossing over and really getting hurt or drowning in the river was one of the bigger reasons, because it was a dangerous spot. So they put this 1,000-foot long barricade. They had plans to install more, but it's been tied up in court. Also, we've seen scenes and court filings where the Biden administration was cutting the razor wire at the border and letting the agents in. And then we saw this where the Texas actually took them to court, and a judge temporarily barred them from cutting the razor wire along the Texas border. So in response to that, they stopped cutting the wire, and they started coming in with like forklifts underneath it and lifting it up in the air, because if we can't cut it, we'll just lift it up. Basically, the Biden administration and the Border Patrol is just undoing anything Texas is doing, trying to slow down the border traffic. And even some of the judges that have gone, like this one, the judge that denied the request, the secondary judge denied that request for them to stop cutting the razor wire. They ruled in favor of the federal government, but chided the Biden administration for not just allowing the migrants to use the international bridges to claim asylum. They are basically encouraging these people to cross in more dangerous situations and get hurt. It is, I don't understand. And we have these open bridges. Or is it just there's too many people to allow them to come through? And Marjorie Taylor Greene posted that video of people just storming the border. And we're getting stories like this now from the post-millennial. Sanctuary City of New York not legally allowed to turn illegal immigrants over to ICE. This is by Katie Daviscourt. New York City is not allowed to turn illegal immigrants to the Immigration Customs Enforcement due to its sanctuary city policies. This, as the Big Apple struggles to contain the influx of illegal aliens who have entered the country as a result of President Biden's open border policies. More than 10,000 illegal immigrants fled into the city each month, guys. Democrat Mayor Eric Adams told Fox 5 about the obstacles his administration is facing when it comes to the crisis. We cannot, by law, tell someone if they come into the city, you cannot come into the city. I don't have the authorization to tell people that they can't come into New York City. We can't even turn them over to ICE, he asserted. It's against the law. Law states we cannot notify ICE. I cannot break the law and enforce the law. That is a big oxymoron. Shouldn't he be taking that law to court himself if he needs to fix it? Adams explained that both state and local law enforcement officers are not allowed to detain illegal immigrants and hand them over to ICE due to New York's For All Act, which prohibits state and local officers from doing so. Mayor Adams, who once boasted of the sanctuary city policies, has changed his tune ever since more than 161,000 illegal immigrants have arrived in New York City since 2022, taking up vital resources and aid that Adams says the city no longer has. Many of those who come are bused or flown into the city by governors of border states like Texas. We're out of room, Adams explained. People are going to be eventually sleeping on the streets. They're already sleeping on the streets in New York, Mayor Adams. You have them. You've put homeless veterans out to make room for migrants. You've put other care centers have been closed to be converted into migrant shelters. You're literally putting people on the streets so that the immigrants don't get on the streets. But over the past few months, Mayor Adams has lambasted the Biden administration for refusing to help cities that been facing the brunt of the illegal immigration crisis. During a press conference last month, Adams declared that help from the Biden White House is not on the way. And it's not just Texas busing the migrants to New York. The Biden administration is sending probably the bulk of them themselves. When pressed by Fox 5 on whether or not he believes the U.S. southern border is secure, Adams said, I think too many people are coming through various pathways and cavities in our border, and we have to be extremely careful because not everyone who is coming is pursuing the American dream, he added. Going further, Mayor Adams asserted the border crisis is a national problem and that it's unfair for local municipalities and cities to handle it. And yeah, New York's a huge city. They're cutting their police force and other services to help pay for taking care of these migrants. And we're seeing more and more come in. We saw the hotels in New York that were just the entire block was lined up with a bunch of scooters that these guys had either stolen or bought with their nice little coming to America bonus, but they were using these scooters and traveling in gangs and robbing and stealing people. So that's not something that they really let leak to national news, but we covered it on the channel. Also, guys, you think, well, hey, it's only going to the sanctuary cities. Well, let's check out the small college town of Whitewater, Wisconsin, with a population of just 15,000 people. Biden administration just flooded this town with 1,000 illegals. The city says they do not have the capacity or resources to handle it. Some illegals are reportedly sleeping in sheds in freezing temperatures, and the city has reported an uptick in crime since the illegals arrived, including sexual assault, kidnapping, and traffic citations. So yeah, even your small town places are going to get flooded. I'm wondering if it's coincidental that it's a college town. Is that why all these immigrants got dropped off? There's the woke even in these small little college towns in Wisconsin. Located near the southern portion of the Kettle Moraine State Forest, Whitewater is the home of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. As of the 2020 census, the city's population was 14,889. Well, you can add another 1,000 to that, but I'm guessing it's because it's a college town, and those college professors and the union members said, send them here. We have plenty of room. And that's why they're sleeping in sheds in freezing cold winter in Wisconsin. It is crazy, guys. But that's all I've got for the border right now. We're watching all kinds of stories. We're still waiting. We're expecting 150 names to drop on the Epstein list. So, guys, make sure you like this video, share it wherever you have social media, and leave a comment because it helps the algorithm. We'll see you on the very next one.